Musk lost in Oakland, and now the fight moves upstairs. An appeal that can't touch the verdict, and a charity law question the jury never got near. This is Musk vs. Altman Daily. Today we've actually got some new legal architecture to chew on, not just a courtroom recap.
Finally. I've been circling the charity thing all week, and somebody dropped a whole article on it.
The Genius Factory piece on what the conversion did to charity law, that's where we start. Then, a step back on what an appeal can even challenge.
And I want to know if the question under Musk's loss just walks out of the courthouse completely unjudged. Tease is over. Let's go.
Here's the precise mechanism, because we've been waving at it all week. The Genius Factory lays it out. A charitable foundation now sits on top of a public benefit corporation. The foundation controls the PBC. It doesn't run a nonprofit directly anymore. That's the live test. The foundation oversees the PBC's assets. And remember Brockman's sworn figure from June 5th, $50 billion in compute. That number finally has a home. It's what the foundation now controls.
$50 billion in compute, sitting under a foundation that used to be a charity. And nobody at trial ruled on whether that's allowed?
Correct, and that connects straight to the step back. The charitable assets question was never decided on the merits. It went out on a statute of limitations ruling.
So this is what bugs me. The University of Auckland framing said the charitable obligation question was formally unanswered. It's worse than that now. It's being actively stress-tested by a structure no court has blessed.
Right. On appeal, this is the clean example. Musk can't relitigate whether the conversion was wrong. The jury's factual findings are basically locked. He'd have to attack the timing ruling as a legal error. For this case, plausibly. But the charity law issue doesn't disappear. State AGs, donor challengers, they now have a specific asset figure and a named governance structure to point at. That's a tighter target than anything in Musk's original complaint.
So the June 5th question of whether the verdict vindicated the for-profit flip answers in. It didn't. It rejected Musk's claims. The structure itself is still on the table for the next plaintiff.
Legally, losing on one plaintiff's theory doesn't bless the structure. Devin's right on that. The doctrinal question stays open for whoever brings the cleaner suit.
The courthouse door closed, and the charity fight walked out the front, untouched.
This one's from the Genius Factory.
OpenAI's nonprofit parent became the OpenAI Foundation after regulators allowed a recapitalization that placed OpenAI Group PBC inside a foundation-controlled structure and gave the foundation a 26% stake valued around $130 billion. A June 8th AI governance dispatch says the move did not follow older healthcare conversion practice, where charities sell assets and fund independent foundations. The unresolved issue is whether the foundation's control is real enough to protect charitable assets.
Okay, so I've been stuck on this all week, and the Genius Factory finally puts a name on it. The foundation skipped the sell the assets and walk away model. Instead, it's sitting on top of a for-profit PBC, holding a 26% stake worth around $130 billion.
Right, and that's the mechanism worth naming. A charitable foundation controlling a public benefit corporation instead of running a nonprofit directly. California and Delaware regulators said they wouldn't oppose it. That still falls short of blessing it on the merits.
And here's the part that gets me. In the old healthcare playbook, the charity sells, takes the cash, funds an independent foundation. Clean separation. OpenAI just didn't do that.
So the conversion happened. That part's settled. The fight is over whether 26% and a control stake actually protect charitable assets the way charity law expects. That's a live doctrinal test now. Back when the University of Auckland folks called it formally unanswered, this is the structure doing the answering, or refusing to.
Which finally settles something from a few days back. Did that jury verdict vindicate the whole nonprofit to for-profit flip? No. It rejected Musk's specific claims. The charity question walked right out of that courthouse, untouched. Step back for me. Now that the jury ruled against Musk, if he appeals, what is he actually allowed to challenge? And why is that a completely different fight from the trial itself?
Great question, because the trial and an appeal really are two different games with different rules. At trial, the jury is the finder of fact. They weigh the evidence, decide who's credible, and reach a verdict. On appeal, you almost never get to re-argue the facts. An appellate court reviews legal errors. Did Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers use the wrong legal standard, give faulty jury instructions, or let in evidence she shouldn't have? Here, the unanimous verdict was that Musk filed too late. His claims were barred by statutes of limitations. And, per MIT Technology Review, Judge Gonzalez-Rogers immediately accepted that advisory verdict. Musk basically drew the same line on X when he wrote that the judge and jury never actually ruled on the merits and called it a calendar technicality. If he appeals, that's the roadmap. He has to show the limitations rulings were legally wrong, which limitations period applied, or when the clock started, not just that the jury read the facts the wrong way.
But if the jury never reached the underlying accusations, the non-profit mission, the unjust enrichment claims, does that mean all of that evidence and testimony just disappears?
Not exactly, and this is the part worth watching. AI for Lawyers notes the case isn't fully over because a remedies phase still lies ahead, and legal observers are focused on the procedural posture of what comes next. The exhibits, emails, and testimony from trial are already part of the public record, and as Vox noted before the verdict, damning court evidence can ripple well beyond the courtroom into OpenAI's ongoing for-profit restructuring, regulatory scrutiny, and its relationship with Microsoft, no matter how any appeal lands.
If you like staying on top of fast-moving, high-stakes stories, try Ebola Watch, a weekday briefing on DRC and Uganda outbreak updates, case counts, border tracing, WHO vaccine news, and traveler guidance. Find it wherever you listen to podcasts. You'll find links to everything we covered today in the show notes. If something caught your ear, they're there for a closer read. That's Musk v. Altman Daily for this Tuesday, June 9th. This is a Lantern podcast.